Alright, today we're going to be taking apart a Game Boy Advanced SP. Um, when this device came out, it was actually a really revolutionary design. What happened was Nintendo released this product and it had a lot of excellent features included in it. The first thing was a rechargeable battery, so you no longer had to worry about carrying around AA batteries or anything like that. You could actually plug it into the wall and it would charge. Alright, the second thing about it was the fact that it had a clamshell design, that it would close and it would protect your screen from scratches. The second biggest issue with the Game Boy Advance console was that the screen would get scratched, and the same thing went for the original Game Boy. But the original Game Boy Advance definitely had some huge issues with the screen getting damaged. And the third thing was that there was also a backlight that was offered in this system. So once again, with the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, they didn't have their own way of staying illuminated, so you couldn't play it at night. With this device, however, you could play it at night, you didn't have to worry about it being scratched. It had a rechargeable battery, so you could actually plug it in and play it while you were using it. And it was also the perfect square shape, and it fit in your pocket nicely. It still had all the buttons that worked with it. For me personally, this was one of my favorite video game consoles of all time, because I would carry this and I would carry my wallet. And it would be my source of entertainment everywhere I go. Bought the set of yard sale for like $5, so I'm not too worried about destroying it. Alright, so we're going to take it apart and see what the insides of it look like. We will not be taking apart the screen because that's a much more tedious process. Alright, let's open up the precision set. First thing I want to do is take off the battery covered door. So grab a Phillips head, we'll unscrew that. Alright, you can see the rechargeable battery that was inside of it. It probably does not hold a charge at this point. And looking at the rest of these screws, we have once again, with the Nintendo-themed Triforce screws, we can call them. So let's switch over to that screwdriver. We have 4 screws on the outside. And we have 2 screws also in the center of the device. Those are actually more shallow screws, so we're going to separate them so we don't screw down into our components when I put it back together. There we go. And we have these 2 central screws as well. I did learn that you can grip these screws with a Phillips head screwdriver, but it can end up doing damage to the device. Alright, so we flip it. The other thing I also learned is that there is a tiny little bolt, nut right here that fell out, and I couldn't figure out what it was for until I got all the way to the end when I tried to put in the battery door. So we're going to leave this in here. I'm going to press it back in if it'll cooperate with me. Oh, that's close enough. We'll come back to that later. Alright, so taking a look at this device, we can see the motherboard. We can see exactly where the cartridges would go in. They'd come up and it would go into here. So the cartridges actually went in through the bottom. Just like before, we have volume. This is actually a slider switch, and it's nice and smooth on either end, moving it back and forth. Right, and then the other side we have the power switch. Actually, no, this happens to be the volume switch. This was the power switch. My mistake. Right, so we can take those out. I'm going to leave that one in. And we see 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, that are going to hold our circuit board together. So we're going to switch back to a Phillips head. And we will take these screws out. Oop, lost a screw. No idea where it went. There it is. Put that in. Once again, I'm not too worried about destroying this device. I paid a couple dollars for it at a yard sale. I'm not even sure that it works at this point, so no big worries. Alright, those 3 screws are out. We can lift the device. We noticed, just like on the Game Boy Pocket, there was a ribbon cable. I actually kind of pulled it out a little bit, so we'll take that out. Alright, we have some buttons up here that have to do with the light switch and other items as well. So we have all the directional buttons. These are actually soft presses. So if I were to remove the rubber pieces, they're actually pressable buttons from this point. So we can see a evolution in technology on Nintendo's part. Alright, removing that, I believe we can actually take these plastic case or button pieces out. Yep, and they come right out. So, just something cool to take a look at. Alright, we have the speaker here, and we see that the ribbon cable goes up and through the slide. Oop, lost all my buttons. That's okay. I'll put them back together at some point. But if we wanted to, we could take apart the screen. And actually, let's do that. So let's move all this stuff out of the way. Alright, so we're on the screen. One of the big things about the screen is there's probably going to be screws under these two pieces, maybe under here. So let's get the proper screwdriver piece for that. Just going to get a flathead screwdriver that's very small. Oh, there's the speaker. We probably need that at some point. We'll pry in. There we go. We've revealed one screw already. Let's see if we can reveal more. Obviously there will be one under this. Oh, this is stubborn. There we go. Let's see if these will slide away. There we go. I'm not too worried about preserving these. And I'm assuming this one will also have a screw underneath it. There we go. Okay, so these are 3-wing screws. So let's switch back through this piece, and let's see what's underneath here. I did not practice this yet, so I'll be just as surprised as you are. I did notice on these sides. Oh, never mind. Did notice that there were little slots where you could pry it open, but I think this pretty much got it. So we have the screen on this side. Looks like that ribbon cable actually spirals in, so it can turn appropriately without putting stress on the cable. Let's see what the other side looks like. We got a piece of foam, and it looks like that's about as deep as we can get into the screen without breaking anything. So it's just a regular screen, gets its power. The backlight, I'm assuming, the power comes through this ribbon cable as well. Alright, so that's all for the Game Boy Advance SP. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to ask them in the comments. Thanks for watching.